Homeowners Insurance. Simple human sense.
Good morning, Mid-Michigan. We're waking up this morning with temperatures into the 20s, a little bit of some sunshine making its way through the clouds into Grand Ledge. We'll see maybe a few hours of sunshine, but I think those clouds are going to be quickly approaching as we head into this afternoon. Satellite and radar is showing those clouds moving in, and eventually we will see some rain and snow showers returning to the forecast. Yes, I said snow showers. We'll continue to see our temperatures into the 30s and 40s for the day today, so it's going to be a chilly day, so make sure you're bundling up if you have any outdoor plans. All the full forecast coming up in just a little bit. 6 News This Morning continues right now.
WLNS is here for you, celebrating 75 years of bringing you the news with 6 News This Morning.
Good morning, Mid-Michigan. It's Wednesday, April 9th. I'm Jorma Duran. Megan has the day off. 6 News is here for you now at this morning's top stories. American shoppers are now bracing for a major economic impact as President Trump's reciprocal tariffs went into effect at 12:01 this morning on goods from almost every country across the world. Jared Hill is here for you now with the latest.
We're making deals and people are paying tariffs.
President Trump championed his new dose of so-called tariff medicine as he says countries are flocking to negotiate with the new reciprocal tariffs hitting overnight.
They're giving us everything.
The president says leaders from Japan and South Korea are headed to the U.S. to negotiate. Vietnam and Zimbabwe have said they would scrap tariffs on U.S. products. The EU has said it'll eliminate tariffs on industrial goods and cars if the U.S. does the same. And no progress with the defiant China. Instead, a 104% tariff after Beijing refused to drop its 34% tariff on U.S. goods, likely meaning more expensive electronics and clothing. Imported produce largely spared, most coming from Canada and Mexico, which have been exempted. But food industry experts warn some prices may rise quickly for some perishable staples like bananas.
Fresh products, because you can't build up inventories and there's a limited lifespan, you will feel that quickly, maybe as soon as a week or 10 days.
On Capitol Hill, some Republican senators challenged the White House's strategy during a hearing with the U.S. Trade Representative.
I'm just trying to figure out whose throat I get to choke if it's wrong, and who I put up on a platform and thank them for the novel approach that was successful if they're right.
As financial markets continue their roller coaster.
It's still early innings in seeing what the final shape of tariff policy for the United States is going to be.
Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
We have new developments for you on the Associated Press. A federal judge has ruled the White House cannot ban AP journalists from presidential events. Back in February, the Trump administration barred the AP from covering several events at the White House for refusing to change AP style to reflect the president's order to rename the Gulf of Mexico. But yesterday, U.S. District Judge Trevor McFadden, who was appointed by Trump, overturned the ban, saying under the First Amendment, news agencies cannot be barred from events because of their viewpoints. A sentence will soon be handed down to one of the men involved in the 2023 murder of Jose Manuel de Jesus Flores. Prosecutors say Flores was fatally shot 2 years ago in Lansing. Aiden Wilson and Bradley Stoutmiles were taken into custody, and then last November, they were both convicted of first-degree premeditated murder, as well as assault with intent to murder a surviving victim, felony firearm charges, and shooting a gun from a motor vehicle. Wilson is set to be sentenced later this morning. Meanwhile, Stoutmiles remains behind bars after he was sentenced to 27 to 60 years in prison last week. The Ingham County prosecutor says because the two were under the age of 19 at the time of the murder, they are not subjected to a mandatory life sentence in prison. In Oakland County, prosecutors are arguing that James Crumbley's request for a retrial is without merit and that the court should deny it. Crumbley, the father of the Oxford High School shooter, is claiming he did not get a fair trial, so he asked for a new trial in late February. His attorney argues that prosecutors made agreements with 2 Oxford school officials which were not disclosed to the defense. However, prosecutor Karen McDonald disputed those claims in her written response. The National Weather Service is continuing to look into tornado reports from the March 30th and April 2nd severe weather outbreaks that struck Michigan. So far, the agency has confirmed that 14 tornadoes touched down in our state, which means we've seen almost a year's worth of tornadoes in just that 1 week. Michigan typically sees 15 to 16 twisters a year on average, but on just March 30th alone, the National Weather Service reported 12 tornadoes touching down across lower Michigan, including 4 in Ingham and Ionia counties. An additional 2 were reported on April 2nd. All of those tornadoes were rated an EF0 or EF1. And as the National Weather Service continues to assess damage caused by last week's tornado outbreak, meteorologists say several of those sites were cleared up before they could even make an evaluation. Dustin Norman with the Weather Service says an Amish community was struck by a twister in Branch County. However, before a damage assessment could be made, the Amish had already put new shingles on a roof, reframed a barn, and made other major repairs in their community. There was also a similar situation down in Indiana. Norman says it sometimes takes them 3 or 4 days to get out these sites, but he adds that he completely respects how quickly the Amish get stuff done.
From Storm Tracker 6, this is Weather on the Sixes, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
Well, we're seeing the sun begin to rise across the area, but we're also noticing some clouds in the forecast right now. Eventually, we'll see those clouds continue throughout the forecast, and our temperatures will remain chilly for today. In fact, this morning we're waking up and temperatures are into the 20s, 27 degrees in Jackson and Lansing. Now, hopefully these temperatures will come back. We are aware that they are down right now. 28 degrees in Hastings, and our satellite and radar is showing those clouds continuing. Now, I think we'll see a few hours of sunshine, but then those clouds quickly move back in, and then our next weather system that'll bring the chance for rain and snow moves right back in. I think we'll stay dry for the majority of the day. It isn't until right around dinner time that those rain showers do move in, and they quickly transition into some snow showers as our temperatures drop back down into the 30s. I think today will be a green paw day area wide. It isn't until later tonight into tomorrow that there could be a few slick spots on the roadways as that snow starts to fall. But as we head into the day today, temperatures remain into the 30s and 40s, so it's going to be a chilly day overall, and eventually we'll see those snow showers and those snow accumulations start to melt as our temperatures warm up.
There you go. All right, we appreciate it. Well, we have plenty more to talk about. We're not going to talk about sports. I don't think so. But we will be talking about how several graduate programs at MSU have been ranked first in the nation. We'll tell you which ones in our What's on the Web segment. The time right now, 6:37.